Hey, good morning. Mike, the marketing medic here from the Cliffside Cabin. So excited that I get to finally use my phone. Anyways, today's lesson, we're going to be back to influence, Dr. Cialdini. And today, what we're going to be talking about is commitment and consistency. And you know what? This is probably one of my favorite principles of his book. It's really, really interesting. And I think if you think about it, you'll understand how commitment and consistency has affected you. So once again, we're going to follow the same format. I'm going to give you some examples of commitment and consistency. I'm going to from the research. Then I'm going to show you how commitment and consistency has affected me. And then I'm going to show you how you can apply commitment and consistency online. All right. While I'm going through that, why don't you just click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my, whoa, what happened there? My little gimbal just went nuts on me. Come on back. There we go. Yeah. Where was I? Yeah. So click the subscribe button so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Good morning, Joe Barnes. Thanks for watching. All right, so here's what I'm talking about with commitment and consistency. Once we say something, once we commit something to ourselves and our minds and our brains, and especially if we make it public, we are much more likely to follow through with that thing. All right. One of the examples I want to give you is racetrack betting. They found that when somebody's considering betting on a horse, they're not overly entirely confident that that horse will win for them, right? They'll say, yeah, I think that's the horse that's going to win, but they only have a limited degree of confidence. But once they place that bet, after they place the bet, after they put the money down, then for some reason, nothing has changed, but then they're sure that that horse is going to win, okay? Because they committed to it with their money, and they have to stay consistent with their decision by, saying, yes, this horse is going to definitely win. Now, here's a really cool marketing ploy that has used commitment and consistency. This is with toy companies, okay? Every year there is a new toy out that, kids have to have. And so what a lot of parents do is they promise their kid that, Santa's going to bring them that toy, right, for Christmas. What the toy companies do is they understock those toys in the stores, okay? They understock them. So what happens is when people go to buy those toys for Christmas, they're not there. They're not there. They can't be bought. And we've heard of this. We've seen this happen, right? And so what happens? Well, they have to buy the kids something else. And so that's fine. They buy the kids something else for Christmas. But what do they do after Christmas? Well, then the ads come out saying, the stores have been restocked and that, must-have toy for Christmas is now available again. And since the parents committed to have to buy that toy post-Christmas, so the toy company made two sales. They got the Christmas present sale and they got the original purchase after Christmas. All right. Here's a way that it's been used for volunteering. All right. So canvassers have gone out, like people trying to raise money for cancer prevention or what have you. What is wrong with my gimbal? It's doing these crazy things. So people have gone out and said, hey, would you mind donating like 3 hours of your time to go out and canvass your neighborhood to get donations for this fundraiser? And not many people do, right? It's a lot of work. Not many people do that. But here's a way to increase those numbers by 700%. Okay. The way that's done is you call those homes in advance just to do a survey. Just to say, we're just trying to see what sort of people are in this neighborhood and that. And if somebody was to ask you to volunteer to raise money for this very worthy cause, what are the odds that you would probably agree to that? Well, since they're just doing a survey and since they don't want to seem like they're not charitable, then most of them will say, oh, I would definitely, I would definitely help you guys out. And then what they do is a couple days later, they contact them again. It's like, hey, would you be interested in volunteering to go out and raise donations for our charity? And it's a 700 times increase the people who agree to it. Because again, my gimbal is messing up. So again, because they committed to it in the survey, then they are more likely, even though it's completely different people, right? In their brain, they said, I kind of said I would do this, so they have to do it. All right. Now, how can you apply that? Well, one way you can apply that is to genuinely ask somebody, how are you doing? if you genuinely ask how they're doing and you wait for a response, you maybe get them to elaborate on that response, that can condition them for your upcoming favor. All right. So what I'm saying is that if you ask me, hey, Mike, how you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm doing all right. Oh, you're just all right? I'm like, well, actually, no, I'm doing pretty darn good. I've got my cabin coming along. Business is going good. It's all good. Good. It's all great. It's like, oh, that's so awesome to hear things are going so well for you. I was wondering if maybe you could do me a favor. And see how that works. So once I've said that everything is so awesome for me, in my mind, I've committed to that, and it would be kind of douchey if I didn't, agree to help you, since everything is going so well for me. All right. Let me give you another example. This is this is from the North Korean War and what the Chinese would do in their prison camps. Okay. So the Chinese relied on a lot of propaganda. Okay. They were trying to get the Americans to say that the American POWs that were captured, they're trying to get them to say that, capitalism is crappy and the US is a terrible place to live and communism is the answer, right? But the thing is the American POWs, they're pretty good at not saying that stuff, okay? And so what would happen is that the Chinese would, you try torturing, try all this different stuff, and the Americans would stay firm with their statements that no, we love America, capitalism is the answer, right? And so what they would do from there is they would just, instead of trying to get them to denounce the U.S., instead of trying to get them to denounce capitalism, they would go with smaller steps, okay? They would just be, conversationally say, you got to admit capitalism isn't perfect, okay? You've got homeless people, you've got people living on the streets, you've got kids that aren't getting access to healthcare. And so would you admit there's, a few minor flaws with capitalism? And of course, the Americans would, well, yeah, it's not perfect, right? It's like, okay, well, cool. Could you just write down these small issues, right? And here's the thing. Once the Americans wrote down that there was an issue with capitalism, then they would have to defend that when somebody, questioned them. And so the Chinese were really smart in going like with baby steps, because the more the Chinese could get the POWs to admit there was flaws in the capitalist system and there was flaws with the U.S., then it was easier to get them to make bigger and bolder statements down the road. Okay, so let me give you one more example, and then we're going to get to some of my real life ones. So they did another study where they showed university students a line on a page. Okay, and they asked them to estimate the line on that page. And so let's say I thought it was 5 inches long. Okay. And so half the group would be asked to write down their answer on a magic pad, like just one of those magic pads where you write it down, then you can shake the pad and it disappears. Okay. So I would write 5 inches on that pad and then I would shake it and it would disappear. The other people would just be asked to think about what they thought the length is. So somebody else would say, oh, I think it's 5 inches, but they wouldn't say anything. Then what the researchers did was they gave them more information that helped them better identify what the length was. Okay. And so here's the thing. The students that only thought in their head that it was 5 inches, they would almost immediately agree with the new information and changed their answer. But those that wrote down 5 inches on that pad, they were less likely to change their estimate of that line length given the new information, because they committed to that 5 inch thing on writing, even though nobody saw it. Because they wrote it down, then they were much more committed to that answer. Okay, so this is all about how commitment and consistency works. Now, the thing is the more effort you put into committing to something, the more consistent you are with that. And 2 examples of that are the Navy SEALs and college fraternities. Okay, what do the Navy SEALs and college fraternities do? They put you through this incredible hazing ritual where you suffer. If you want to be in that fraternity, if you want to be a Navy SEAL, then you got to suffer. You got to pay the price. And once you go through, once you commit with all that pain and suffering, once you go through Hell Week, you are so committed that, you would do anything to support that group, either the frat or the SEALs, right? Now, here's one of the experiences I've had. Last year, I signed up for a coaching program. It was terrible. It was so bad. It was terrible. It was really, really expensive. I got shystered. I feel bad about that. But anyway, got ripped off. But here's the thing. The other people in the group, although they knew it was terrible because it was so obviously terrible, They were unwilling to admit it was terrible, because by doing that, they would say, you know what, I just spent tens of thousands of dollars on something that was terrible. And that makes me pretty stupid to do something like that. And I was pretty stupid to do that. But I'm willing to admit it. Most people aren't, right? So they're like, no, I spent, you know, it was like close to $20,000. You know, I spent $20,000 on it. I make wise decisions. This money was well spent. Okay, because they're committed to that. Another example is in weight loss, right? Every year, a lot of us want to lose some weight, or we want to do better with our business, something along those lines. And here's the thing: how many of us are willing to outwardly say at New Year's, I'm committed to losing 10 pounds. I am committed to increasing my business by 25%, right? Because most of us are unwilling to say that out loud, because we know if we say it and people know about it, then we'll have to do it. But if we just keep it quiet in the back of our mind, then, you know, if things don't go right, you know, if we see some really yummy donuts, then we can eat them because nobody will be judging us. So the commitment, the consistency is not there. So that's why it's so important to say something, to put it out loud, or to write it down, because then it's out in the world, then it's much more likely to happen. All right, so now let's talk about how you can use this in your marketing. Okay, so first, last week's thing, I talked about how you want to be able to sell while you're awake before you can sell when you're asleep. So I'll go over that briefly, but then I'm going to talk about how to sell in your sleep. Okay, so again, if you're interviewing somebody, if you're talking to somebody, the best thing you could do is ask them how they're doing and genuinely get an answer. Okay, genuinely get an answer. And if they say they're doing great, then they're much more likely to comply. Okay. Another thing is to say, you know what, how committed are you? So if, like for me, I coach people to help to grow their business. If I say, how committed are you to do something right now that's going to grow your business? They say, you know what, I am 100% committed to doing something right now that's going to grow my business. Then when I present them with my offer to do something that will help them grow their business, what are they going to do? They pretty much have to agree to sign up, right? Because of the commitment they've shown. Okay. So again, this is relatively easy to do when you're talking to somebody one-on-one, but how can we do this online? Well, there's a new thing out there, relatively new, called Facebook Messenger, right? We can do Facebook Messenger ads, and we can run somebody through one of our Facebook chat bot funnels. Okay. And you can do exactly the same thing. You'll see if you go through any of my Facebook Messenger bots, you'll see one of the first things I ask is, how are you doing? I give them a choice: Rockstar Day or ARG, don't ask. And if they click on Rockstar Day, they've just committed to themselves, so they're having a great day. Then I show them a GIF of Beavis and Butthead rocking out, okay? Because I want to keep it light, want to keep it fun. But as they go through the process, because it's a bot and because we can look for custom identifiers, what we can do is like say, if you're committed to growing your business 25% in the next year, right? I'm committed to 25%. Write that in the message box below. Okay. And they can do that. And then you have your chat set up to identify any of those words: committed, 25%, whatever, to keep them going in the flow and in the direction you want them to go. But see what you just did? You got them to write down that I am committed to 25%. And so again, once they've written that down, then when you present them with an offer that, hey, prospect, would you like to grow your business 25%? Well, they just said they were, right? And so now I'm saying, well, if you want to grow your business 25%, then this is how you can do it. Okay. And so I just think that the Facebook Messenger chatbots are so cool for that, because you can get people's written confirmation on stuff like that. All right, guys. I think that is all we have for today. Again, keep that commitment and consistency in mind. Think about in yourself with the statements that you say, and how you are more likely to respond when you verbalize something or when you write it down. And again, the best way you can get your audience to comply with whatever you want them to do is to pre-frame them in advance by making that written or that voiced commitment. All right, gang, that's it for now. I don't know if they're there yet, but there will eventually be links in the text below. Make sure you click on those to learn more. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe right now. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. All right, bye-bye. Yes.